Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl Apollonia Cross, and today I am wanting to bring on a special guest speaker for Plan and Chat, Miss Kelly Thompson, and we're going to be talking about how we are focusing on creating healthier marketing tips to help you through the holiday season. Because as you guys know, the holiday season is always the busiest and most stressful season of the year for all of us, whether you are whether you're a mom focusing on trying to get the best sales and discounts for getting gifts, or you are a mompreneur and needing to focus on building your business, but also wanting to find a way to be balanced and present for your family. And so I wanted to bring on Kelly Thompson because she's a mindset and marketing coach, and she's also a mama for herself, and she has a great way to be able to help you focus on getting better visibility and marketing for your business in a healthier way, so you're not dealing with burnout during the holidays, because nobody want to deal with any of that. So let me go ahead and welcome her on, and as you guys are coming on, say hello.
Thank you so much.
Yes. All right.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. And I was having a little bit of technical difficulty, but it looks like we are doing good now. So, as you guys are coming on, make sure you guys are saying hi to us too. Let us know where you're at in the world so we can connect with you all. And so, hi, Kelly. How are you?
I'm great, Apollonia. Thanks for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here. I'm honored that you invited me.
Yes, yes. I know when you first reached out to me about joining on your podcast, and then we finally clicked, like I feel like we really connected, and then to find out that we
Yes.
were both moms of four kids, I was like, "Oh, okay. Like it was this was meant to happen."
So easy. Yes, I agree. I agree. It's like, honestly, like even during the podcast, I was like, I so enjoyed having you. It was like talking to a friend. We just kind of laughed and joked, and it was awesome. It was really good. So I'm glad to be here with you.
Yes, yes. So I am so excited. So if I kind of already gave a little bit of an intro, but I'd love for you to go ahead and just share yourself before we go ahead and get into a few questions to discuss today's topic. So go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, my name is Kelly Thompson. I am a mindset and marketing coach, and I help women basically create wealth. I help them create a signature offer using the genius they already have and packaging it in such a way to attract high ticket clients without constantly posting 24/7 and being chained to social media, which is kind of a process that I had to learn myself. Because when I first started in business, I started out copywriting and I felt like I was chained to social media, like that was the only way for me to get clients. And that's what I did. And I learned from that experience. And since then, kind of came up with a different system that works a lot more effectively without getting burnt out.
Right. And I love that because social media overwhelm and burnout is so real. And it really, unfortunately, it's not healthy for our mental and emotional and spiritual health or our physical health, but also ends up affecting our home life. And when we get burnt out of
100%.
that, it affects our business, which affects our financial and home life even more.
Yep.
Um, so there can be this type of sense of obligation, which can turn into resentment down the road. So I'm
Yes.
excited for this topic for real. Um,
Yeah.
so the first question I have for you is like, what inspired you to get started helping women market their businesses in the first place?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Like I kind of mentioned a little bit, anytime you're an entrepreneur, there's kind of a learning curve, right? There's a lot of things that you kind of have to figure out on your own, right? I'm sure you understand what I'm saying, right? So you kind of start out with one thing and it kind of turns into something else. Excuse me. So
Mhm.
for me, my journey kind of started when my oldest daughter got engaged. I obviously knew she was going to eventually kind of grow up and move out of the house and do all those things and the things that you hope your kids to do, right? Like you want them to move out, right? Am I right? Just me?
Right.
Nope. Everyone. Like the goal is for them to be able to be productive
Be
citizens,
free.
right?
Basically.
Do you be free?
Right.
So
Right.
so, even though I knew that, it really just kind of hit me how quickly time was going by because I was like, wait, how am I old enough to have someone that's like getting engaged? That was crazy to me. And so it really kind of made me start thinking like, what do I want to do going forward? I felt like God had a call in my life for me to do something entrepreneurial. And so I did. We went on a trip actually, and her boyfriend, now husband, had proposed to her. And when we got back, one of the first things I did was, one, obviously start planning the wedding with her, but also really kind of did a deep dive into figuring out what it was that I wanted to do with my life, in terms of being an entrepreneur and things like that. So I kind of started out with copywriting, because not copywriting, blogging, because writing was something I was always very passionate about. So I did blogging for a while, and then that kind of morphed into copywriting, and I was doing that, and I was excited about it. It was something I felt passionate about, and I really enjoyed it. Like when you always kind of had an idea in your mind of something that you want to do and you're finally doing it, you're pretty excited about it, right? And so that's kind of where I was. I was really happy, but I had a challenge. I wasn't able to get clients. I was getting a slow trickle of people that wanted to pay me money. And the goal was to get people to pay me money for what I was good at, So I was getting people, and I was getting great testimonials, and people were enjoying it and everything, but it was really hard. So I kind of did a deep dive into marketing and really wanted to figure out a better way, not the social media way, but like media has been in existence for years and years and years. Before social media, it was TV. I mean, obviously we still have TV, but radio and newspaper and all of that stuff, right? Like we all used to see ads. So I kind of did a deep dive to really try to figure out, like, what were other people doing before social media was invented? And so I figured out some things and I implemented them, and it worked. And I told some friends, and it worked for them. And so then I realized that there was a real need for someone to kind of come alongside moms specifically, because we're busy. Anyone busy? Who's busy, right? You're busy, right? So really just a need to help moms use their genius, the things they already know, to create a business that makes them money and be able to, get clients consistently without being chained to social media. And so I pivoted my business based on that information. And I've been doing marketing, coaching, and mindset for moms ever since.
Awesome. And I love that it like stemmed from inspiration of this like awaking moment of you being a mom with your daughter, and then be like, okay, what do there's something needs to change. Like time went by fast. And I can't even believe you have, like, because we talked about this. You don't look like you have a married child, but
God bless you.
You truly don't. But then that, like, when you said that, I was like, oh my God, my eldest is a freshman. Honey, I love you, but you need to be. This is a beauty of live video, people. Your kids are in the background while you're trying to be professional. Anyway.
And they're watching you though, right? Like kids learn and grow from what you do. So it's fine. It doesn't matter. I mean, this is learning. I think this is more important than them going to school, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna have to remember that. I'm really gonna remember. And it's funny because my daughter is like, Mom, no, we have to take a selfie. And both the 4-year-old and the 2-year-old like, no, selfie check.
I love it.
Yeah, I guess, like, yeah, this is definitely training them. And with how bossy my daughter is, I was like, oh, you're totally running companies. Like, you're an employee because you don't take orders at all.
Perfect. That's great. She's going to make her own company. I love it. Absolutely.
Right. Just boss up. That's it.
Yep.
But yeah, no, just like I was thinking, like my son is in high school. He's a freshman. And then kind of fast forwarding, thinking how soon my husband and I got together and then had a child. Like literally that's like 7 years from now. I'm like, I'm not ready. Like what was I thinking back then? But yeah.
You're never ready. And that was kind of, it really hit me. I was like, wait a minute, because you're busy. You're a mom, you're doing the thing, right? You're busy. You're in the day-to-day of it. You're, hey, I got to take this one here. And I homeschool. So it's like, all right, I got to help you with math. I got to help you do this. All right, let me do this. Let me do that. So you're busy doing all the things. And then you look up one day and you're like, wait, how old are you guys? You're going to wait a minute. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what happens because as moms, we wear so many hats. We do so many things. It's easy to kind of get lost and forget that you too have, you may have another mission in your life for you to pursue in addition to being a great mom.
Right. And then finding that healthy balance, and especially with, honestly, we've always known that social media was going to take off and provide a new opportunity for moms to be able to join the workforce, or, just be able to produce income, which this is the amazing age in my mind of the Proverbs 31 woman. Like, man, like
Yes.
this is where we
Yes.
at. Like,
Yes.
it's time for all of us to rise and embrace that of who we're to be. But it can be very challenging and very overwhelming, with having to juggle this all at the same time. So
Mhm.
how are you doing this? Because you said you homeschool 4 kids like that. Nope.
Yes, it's a calling. Just like, listen, there are a lot of people that look at, women, moms as entrepreneurs, and they're like, wait, how are you? I know I have friends that are moms that are like, how are you doing that? Like, how are you doing, podcast interviews and helping clients and, doing YouTube lives, things like that when you have kids? Like, look at you. You're like the definition of a super mom, right? Like, you figure it out. If it's something that you really want to do, you figure out, right? That's what
Right.
you do.
Right.
So
Yeah.
for me, like I said, I was kind of struggling with, okay, what is it that I want to do? Here's this thing that I have that I really enjoy, but someone's telling me that I need to be posting on social media 24/7 to be
Mhm.
able to get clients, because that was kind of the next iteration. So I did my deep dive and I was like, all right, well, these things that I'm doing are working. But prior to that, I had been kind of, I say, like, suckered almost into thinking that what I need to be doing is showing up on every platform all the time,
Mhm.
posting 3 to 5 to 10,000 times a day.
Mhm.
And sorry, and that was not something, can you hear me? Yeah. That was
Yes.
not something that I wanted to sign up for.
Right.
So
Nor is that
I really
sustainable.
kind of, yeah, sorry, say it again.
I said, nor is that really truly
It's not
sustainable.
sustainable. No, and it's ridiculous. And like you and I were talking a little bit before the live, that the people that are kind of saying this, I think a lot of them, they have teams that are helping them. But
Mhm.
certainly if you're a mom trying to raise your family, like, you don't have time to see, well, I'm going to post what, 5 times a day? Are you crazy? Like,
I have to
you
remember
know,
to take a shower and brush my teeth.
right? Like, it doesn't
Let's
make
keep it
sense.
real.
Right.
We do our best. In every aspect, we do our absolute best. But building a business from scratch is like raising a family from scratch.
Yes, ma'am.
There's a
It
million
absolutely
books,
is.
a
Yes.
million methods, and not all of them are for you. Like,
Not all of them are for you. And that's the key. 100%. Not all of them are for you. Now, yes, it may. And I totally understand why people say, why the gurus say you need to post 5 to 10 times a day, make sure you're posting every day, show up on every platform. I get why they say that, because social media in general, the internet, is so saturated with information. We have so
mhm,
much information from so many different people. So if you really do want to have a hope, if this is your strategy to build your business and you want to have a chance of your ideal clients finding you, yes, ma'am, you will have to post 50 times a day, show up on every platform, and do all of the things if you want to make sure that you're seen by that right client that is at that moment ready to buy. Because truly, they would have to be at that moment ready to buy.
mm,
Otherwise, you have to continuously put out content. So when they are finally at that moment, they'll go, oh, yeah, I remember that lady. She was selling whatever, whatever. Right. But
mhm,
that's not necessarily the best way. So for me, I had done all that. I was posting, I did that. I would take my weekends and I would record reels and I would post a reel every single day for months. I did that every single day. And I was posting carousels and I was posting static posts and I was doing stories and all of those things, but I wasn't getting clients. So that's when I had decided to do that deep
so
dive to
sorry.
figure out marketing. Do your thing, man. It's fine. So that's why I had decided to really kind of figure it out. So I really kind of boiled it all down to like 3 basic steps, 3 really simple steps that anyone can use in my I call it a blueprint, right? It's called the Align to Attract blueprint. So the first step, as you know, as women, you may have an idea, like you're told, you got to niche down, you got to niche down. And I totally agree with that. But that doesn't mean that you don't have other passions and other things that you have in your mind that you want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have all this kind of information of all these things that you want to do as your business, but you really need to kind of focus on the one thing you want to promote at that moment. So the first thing that I kind of help people do is magnetize their messaging,
Mm-hmm.
because if you're not 100% clear on what you want to do, if you're like afraid, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get it wrong, or if you're like, well, maybe this price is too high, or if it's too low, or you're out there creating a lot of freebies to try and attract people and you're not 100% sure on what you want to do, that uncertainty shows up in your messaging. Right. So, what's it saying? A confused mind says no. So, if you're trying to market to someone and they're not 100% clear on what you do, and don't know what you're really kind of selling, they're not going to buy from you. And understand what I'm saying? Does anyone know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about? Right. Right.
Yeah.
So then magnetizing your messaging is really just getting clear on what I call the 4 questions, which is who you help, how you help, the problem you solve, and what makes your service special. And when people kind of go through my program on this Align to Attract, you understand how to magnetize your message because you've clarified your position now, right? Now you know who you're going to target, how you're going to help them, and what you're going to offer. So that's the first step. The second step is the visibility attraction formula. Visibility attraction formula, I simply teach you how to get in front of those clients, the audience that would really consider your offer to be valuable. It's really that simple. Make sure that you're in front of that audience and be in front of them in such a way that they are prepared and positioned to buy from you. I don't know why I keep clearing my throat. I know anyway, sidebar. Alive, people.
Right.
So that's the second step. Just being able to get in front of the people that are really going to want to consider your service valuable, right? So that implies that the service you have is valuable. So another thing that I work on with my clients anyway is to make sure your service is valuable. But that's the most important thing. You need to have product market fit. So if you're offering a service, but you're presenting it to a market that will not necessarily see it as valuable. So let's say, for example, I'm at Publix or whatever grocery store is near you, and you want to have your groceries bagged. So you may have someone that's bagging your groceries, but are you going to be willing to pay $20, $30, $40 for that? Of course not, because it's something pretty easy that you can do, right? Now, what
Mm-hmm.
if you are that same bag person, but you're in a grocery store that's maybe special needs and they focus on helping people that have, I don't know, some maybe paralysis of their limbs or something like that, right? Now, if I'm that customer, I might be more inclined to pay a higher price for someone to bag their groceries. Does that make sense? Right.
Right.
So it really does have to fit the market that you're in. So we kind of go through all of that sort of thing. And then the last step in my formula is packaging for profit. So you know how you get this idea in your head that you have to keep posting or not, you don't get the idea. People tell you that you have to post, right? That's not enough to articulate your offer in a way that makes it valuable, right? So
Right.
you could have a really great offer, if you can have a really great offer, but if you're not able to articulate it in such a way that your ideal client will resonate with it and go, oh, this is the thing that's going to change my life. This is what I need, right? If you can't articulate your offer, because you don't get paid in the market for your offer per se, you get paid for how you articulate that offer, right? So I can have the best thing in the world, but if I don't make you understand how this is going to change your life, it really will not matter to you, right? So it really is about articulating the way your expertise in such a way that resonates with your clients. And by doing that, you're able to get off the content creation hamster wheel, as I call it, because now you've packaged your offer in a way that makes sense. It's not overwhelming, and people connect with it and they want to buy from you. So that's the steps.
Yeah, no, and that's great because I really loved how you said you gave the explanation of, something as simple as somebody who's bagging groceries. But the difference is the type of person. Now, like obviously somebody who's more than capable and able to do it, they're not going to see the value in it. They're going to be like, oh, I'm going to save my money. However, the person who sees the true value in it and also could benefit from a service like that, it doesn't matter about the money, they want the benefit. And
Absolutely.
That is so true. And I think, like what you said, is by focusing and narrowing those things down and only speaking to that type of a client, that's going to also help you remember just who you're talking to and learn how to just unapologetically speak to that. And that's it. So your focus is down, and so you are not entertaining anything or anyone outside of that. Because I feel like a lot of times we can kind of, um, especially in the world of social media overwhelm, we feel like we have to go with this trend, that trend. Oh, this person did something like this, and blah blah blah.
Absolutely.
Well, that they got those many followers, or so maybe I can just try to do something just like that. And what we're learning now with how the algorithms and just also from information overload is people are tired. Like
Yes, ma'am.
moms are tired of putting out all this damn content.
Right. Right.
And then the consumer is exhausted of seeing the same thing and just being yelled at and talked at.
All the
So
time. Yeah.
being able to slow down, because I honestly, let's be honest, it's going to require you to take a little bit of a break or slow down in your business, just so that way you can rework your mind and do the work that you need to do for yourself,
Yes.
and then be able to hone in on that focus and say, all right, this is what I'm doing, this is who I'm talking to. And with your program, it sounds like that's exactly what you do, which I think is really great, because we got the holiday season coming up, and everybody, Q3 is all about hitting those end of year goals,
Right.
hitting growing sales, but also trying to make sure you spend time with the family, because I know a lot
Balance.
of
Yeah.
people, man, like all the time. And I
Hard.
know
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people, whether you're service based or even especially product based business owners and mompreneurs right now, all in the Etsy world and all of that, like this is crazy season. Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is crazy season. And so feeling the need to have to also continue to push out all the content as well as all the product. And especially if you're a one woman show, it can
It's
be very
hard.
stressful.
Absolutely. And, one thing I'll say to that too is, we also kind of get caught up on this idea of we need to have more followers. We'll get more followers. Like I'll post content and get more followers. And the reality is that followers do not equal buyers. Let me say it again for the people in the back.
Man.
Followers do not equal buyers, right? So if your goal is to try and keep increasing your content um, output because you're hoping to get more and more followers, that really isn't the best way to leverage social media in terms of growing your revenue, right? The goals are different. Are we trying to grow followers? Or are we trying to grow revenue? If it's revenue, then putting out random pieces of content often is not going to get you there. And just like what you said, Apollonia, like really focusing on taking the time to really do some research into who your ideal client is. Don't just post content just to post content, or post content that you think maybe will resonate. Like you have to be very intentional. I mean, especially as a mom who's busy and going into this holiday season, if your goal is to really get the most bang for your buck, you know what I'm saying? Like get the most return on your investment. You really, really, really need to focus and hone in on who you are speaking to. That would be the thing that I would advise going into this next quarter. Like if you have certain revenue goals, know who you're talking to, because that's the way that you're going to be able to increase your revenue. Like narrowing your focus and honing in on your message is the quickest way for you to be able to connect with the people that will actually buy your service. So maybe take a pause, do some research, and figure out who you help and how you help and what makes you unique. There's no strategic advantage in lowering your price and competing on price, because
Mhm.
then the lowest price is going to win, right? So if you're like, it's a race to the bottom, as I heard somebody say.
Mhm.
So lowering your prices is not the answer. That's not the solution. What you need to do is create some kind of an offer, some kind of a package that's going to cause people to be like, oh, I really want that. Like if it's, oh, I'm offering a coaching plan that's going to help you, set goals and be able to do the things you need to do in 30 days or less. Okay, that's great. There might be a lot of people that are offering that. What makes yours different, and what can you package on top of that to make it something that stands out and resonates with people? Because otherwise, it's just like, okay, what's the difference between Apollonia's program and JoJo's program?
Mhm.
Like, this one's cheaper. I'm going to go with JoJo. You know what I mean? So you really have to be intentional about who you're serving. So get clear on your message, and don't think that lowering your prices is the way to get there.
Yeah, especially, we're heading into holiday season, so that mentality of Black Friday deals, like
Right.
low bargains,
Right.
that can definitely come up, and you're like, okay, what is it something that I can offer? But when we're talking about, trying to make sure that we're marketing and being able to make the right customer and being able to maximize sales, like we're actually doing a disservice by dropping our prices and increasing
100%.
our work.
Yes.
I know for me, that was a mindset shift I had to really realize. And still, that takes some time to kind of rework, right?
It absolutely does. Yeah, I had a client actually. She had an amazing service, really really valuable, like life-changing service, and we kind of worked her offer to make it like super super like awesome. And she when we came to price point, I was like, "Okay, so what do you want to charge for this?" And she gave me some price point that was like super low, and I was like, "Wow, that's what makes you think like it really is a mindset set shift that you could have something that could be potentially not life changing, but you're willing to charge next to nothing." And her response was, well, it's not rocket science. Like, people know this stuff. And one of the things I think that really kind of holds entrepreneurs back from being really like walking in their power and their purpose is that we tend to undervalue our own knowledge. We kind of think that, well, because we already know it, then everyone knows it, and
Mm,
that's absolutely not the case. There's plenty of people that are less further along than you in their journey, that would love to have the information that you have and that knowledge that you have. So just thinking that, what we have isn't good enough and maybe I shouldn't charge that. That's a lie. That's a lie from the enemy. And that's not something that we should even put. And like you said, though, it is definitely a mindset thing. You have to get to that point where you recognize the value that you provide the market. Like, you yourself you're a valuable person no matter what outside of your market. But just your offer, you want to make sure that your offer is valuable, and being able to articulate that to the market is really kind of the secret sauce.
yeah. And I love that you said, like, because there's so much unworking that a lot of people don't realize really needs to happen. And your your mental and emotional state has a major effect on your business, whether you
Mm,
realize it or not. It has a
mm,
major effect in how you show up as a mom, how you show up as a wife, how you show up as a
yes.
business owner. And so, like what you were talking about, that inconsistency, even when it, like for me in the health and wellness, like the inconsistency is a major thing, but it's also because it's a mental and emotional disconnection that's happening to you, that you said, like, recognizing, like, no, my worth and my value is infinite, but my offer and the value of my offer is this. And I love that you made that distinction, because a lot of the times when we're not in a healthy state, we tie our worth to our offers and our
Right.
businesses, and
Yes.
then that can cause a whole
Yes.
another thing.
A
And
100%. Yeah, like even, I myself, and I know others, especially when I was kind of back learning all of the things about posting on social media, you would kind of wake up and you're like, yeah, okay, I'm going to do this and this for my business. And you're like all excited. And then you post a couple of pieces of content and you don't get the engagement that you wanted, or you don't get, the followers that you wanted,
mhm.
or whatever it may be. And what does it happen? It kind of brings your mood down. You're like, oh man, this isn't working. And you start feeling bad and you start feeling stressed. You're like, well, what am I supposed to do next? And you get overwhelmed and it kind of spirals. And then before you know it, your day's ruined and you're yelling at your kids. You
And then the
know?
kids throw the pillows and put spaghetti. We
And
got
then
a
it's
food
done.
fight going
Right. And then you're done. You're like, I just need to go to bed and crawl into a corner. Right.
and cry. Just, I gotta cry. I just gotta
Yes.
yell. I gotta, and
Yes.
it keeps going. And
Yes.
it's such an unhealthy place to be. So I really,
100%.
really love that you stated how important it is for us to make that distinction, because
Yeah.
that's also something that within my program, I really work with my clients on helping them understand that their value and their worth is not tied to what they look like in the mirror, their clothing size.
Yes.
And there is a lot of identity loss and just a lot of shifting that needs to happen. And especially like with video marketing and all of the things, like tying it back to what we're discussing, having to remember, like, you're not putting up this fake image whenever you're articulating the value of the program. Like, you have to be in this mental state of like, the value of the program, you understand the worth in the transformations,
Right.
and then shifting that onto specific valuable content. Your audience is going to come to you more than you having to put out all of this content burning your wheels. Yes, you need to have valuable content over an extended period of time just to continuously grant new people, but the whole 5-10 posts a day on 20 different platforms that they keep creating new ones, like for social media and stuff like that, for us to market and all of that, that's no. Like,
No, it doesn't make any sense at all. And, just exactly what you said, just being also aware of your capacity, right? Like, we have in our mind that we need to work harder, right? Like, have you ever heard, like, you need to work hard, you need to work hard? Like, have you heard that before? Well, if hard work was the only thing that led to wealth creation and being a successful business owner, then you would have a lot more wealthy construction workers, landscape artists, house cleaners, things like that. Because those people work super hard, right?
Right.
But are they wealthy? Not necessarily, right? So it's not about working hard. It's about working smarter and knowing your boundaries, right? Just like you were saying, like, your worth is not reflected in the success of a piece of content that you posted or how many clients you got on, in that month. Like, that doesn't reflect your worth. Your worth is not from that, right? So just being aware and being able to separate those two and not think that, okay, I'm doing all these things and it's still not working. Oh, my life is a mess, right? Like, those things don't work. So just having healthy boundaries and healthier ways to think about your business and your life in general, and being able to separate that is really a big thing for entrepreneurs, because we get so we're like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And we get so excited and we want to, do all the things. And it's a lot. Like, when you think about all the things you have to do as an entrepreneur, it is a lot.
Email list, graphic design,
yes,
video editing. Like,
right. Did you, like, when you started, did you come in thinking, oh, well, yeah, I'm going to learn I'm going to have to be a graphic designer. I'm going to learn how to create emails. I'm going to learn to figure out my back end, my CRM, and I'm going to have to invoicing. And like, you don't come into it thinking that way. You come into it thinking, oh, I got a gift and I want to help and I want to share. And then you're like, whoa,
right.
That's a lot, right?
Right. It's like that gift that you get on Christmas Day and you're like, oh my God, it's so big. And then you're like,
it's got 17 million pieces and you got to put it together.
Right. 17 million pieces. Or even a better analogy, it's the one big box and then it took like 20 million boxes to get to the one thing that you absolutely love.
Gem, right?
The gem that was like this box, but it's in this
buried.
Right. And you're like, okay, when am I ever done unwrapping these presents?
Right.
Oh my God.
When can I just get to the thing? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's true.
And I think I love that. Like, I love that analogy because now it reminds me, like, this is what God talks about. Like, it's not about being at the top of the mountain. It's about the journey.
100%. That preach, because if you can learn to enjoy the journey and understand that each milestone that you hit is teaching you something about yourself and your business, like that's winning. That is when you win right there. 100%.
Right. And then, like, I think that also helps you, that creates that sustainability. So that way you're not just creating this hobby that you're doing. You kind of make money here, don't make money there. We've all been there in that phase. Okay.
Right.
Some of us are still in that phase because we're still figuring this whole thing out.
Right.
Okay.
Which is totally okay. It's a journey. Yeah.
Right. It's a journey. But then when you finally realize, like, no, I'm in this for the long game. So it don't matter how long it takes me to figure this out. I'm going to work through it. I'm going to figure this out. But I am going to embrace the journey, continue to grow and evolve as things change and get better and get
Right.
better. And that is the best way that you're going to be able to approach this. And so you may not necessarily be prepared this holiday season, but what can you learn with the video marketing and things that you've been able to do this holiday season? What can you learn now that you can try to rework maybe during your spring launch
Right.
or another another form of season? Because like I feel like especially with video content, like you can constantly post, but this is one concept I had to like really remember. Like it's not about recreating content all the time, it's also about repurposing the content that you've
Yes.
created. And there's
Right.
so much value in that, and I think we forget that just because this trend, that trend, this is changing, that's changing, so we think we have to
Right.
constantly be in this forever state.
Invention mode. Yeah.
Right. And sometimes it ain't broke, so why are you fixing it?
100%. Yeah, that's kind of the other side of the coin of what we were talking about. Like on one side, stop trying to, put out all this stuff constantly, and then you have other side, like one side you don't have to do all that. The other side is if you already have stuff that works, like you can go back, like on Instagram, for example, you can go back and see what your top performing posts were, what your top performing reels are. If it's been a few months, by all means, put that
Mhm.
back out. There's no one is going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I saw that already. No one cares. They do
Right.
not care. You know what I mean?
That,
Yeah.
or even like, I know I've been in the social media space for some years. And like I finally was like, let me go through some things because it's a bit for me, it's a busy season. My kids are little, so I don't have all this time to
Right.
be trying to promote and create all the time as much as I would love
Right.
to, but it's
Right.
just not reality. But
Mm-hmm.
looking back at a lot of my posts, I'm like, literally I can copy this caption, maybe make some tweaks to it for it to
Yes.
relate to present, and then
Right.
make a quick reel, and that's done, and see how that works, or switch the
Absolutely.
picture, or maybe turn it into a
Right.
carousel, or what
Yeah.
have you. And that's just a great way to even thank yourself for the work that you did before, and
Right.
just say, all right, let me make adjustments and be able to see how this does now in this present day,
Right.
and see if it'll help me get better promotion, if not visibility, maybe promotion on a new sale or course or even products or what have you. And
Right.
it's just it's a different way to look at how to market on social media and how to grow your business and visibility than what we're feeling that we have to. Because like you said, as us moms, like we're already busy. Like,
Already busy. We don't need extra. We don't need anything more. Not at
right,
all. No.
right.
And one of the things I teach in my program is to teach women how to have a virtual event. So it's a shortened event. And for those virtual events, it's kind of like you have an audience of people that have already expressed some level of interest in what you have to offer. So it's different than just constantly pumping out content to try and get random people to kind of like what you have to offer, or start following you. Once you have an opt-in for a virtual event, that shows like, oh, okay, I'm really interested in what you're going to be talking about in this virtual event, and those clients end up converting at a much better level. So
And I
yeah.
actually really love that too, because like with the holiday season, this is where everyone's coming together,
Hmm.
everybody's connecting, and also you're gonna see a lot of people hosting vision board parties.
Right. Ooh, yeah.
And so like
Hmm.
that, like you said, that's another great
Yeah.
way, because at the end of the day, we're all looking for connection and relationship and community. So what better way to use a virtual event to host a something to
Right.
kind of gather your audience, give them some
Promote your offer.
value,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
promote your offer. And
Yeah.
that's a great way as a one and a done type of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially for us moms, we're trying to maximize our
Yes.
potential for our time, because
Yes.
it's so much more valuable to be able to get like 20 birds with one stone than it is to get
100.
one.
Yeah. And that's the advantage of the virtual events because like you said it's 20 or 30 people as opposed to, one person reading your social media post and going, "Oh, I'm going to have to follow that person or I'll save that and come back to it later." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely a better way to market your service if that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, yeah. So this is my last question, and then we'll close on out. And thank you so
Mhm.
much for your time. We've had a
Absolutely.
lot of nuggets on here, so I hope you guys are watching live have enjoyed our conversation. But so the last question that I have for you is, what are some tips that you would give to mompreneurs who are in the preparing season for the holiday season? What are the top 3 tips or nuggets that you'd give to them to help them level up their marketing, which I kind of think you did, but like specifically for the holidays, because we are like in crunch time.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
So what would be that?
Yeah, I would say the number one thing would be to get your messaging more clear. Like if your goal is to truly increase your revenue for this season, you don't want to there's everyone is marketing now, right? This is like you said, it's crunch time. Everyone's out here trying to like meet their year-end goals. So what is it that's going to make you different? And that's the thing that you want to focus on. In your marketing, right? So, number one, I would say clarify your messaging. Who are you talking to? Because you have a much higher conversion rate if you are speaking to the people that want and need your offer. I can say, "Hey, everybody, I got this thing." Or I can say, "Hey, you 3 people, this is what I have. Is it something you're interested in?" That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Constantly clear my throat. Anyway, so that would be the first step, would be to make sure you clarify your messaging. Second thing is I would say stop lowering your prices. Like stop lowering your prices. Stop doing it. Your time is valuable. So don't do it. A much better way, instead of lowering your prices, is trying to figure out what else you can offer, what else you can add to that offer to make it something that's like, "Oh my goodness, I have to have it." Right? Because there is no end to the race to the bottom. You will not be successful if that's your goal. So you absolutely
Sorry. No,
no
you can't
worries.
show her. She's trying to show you her YouTube thing. Not right now. Okay, world. She wants to show you Yo Gabba Gabba
Oh, let's
really
see Yo Gabba
quickly.
Gabba. Hi, cutie.
Okay, go finish watching the video.
Oh, she's adorable.
Thank you,
So real life, y'all, real life.
man.
So yeah, I would say stop lowering your prices. Figure out the thing that is going to help people see the value in what you're doing instead of lowering your prices. And then the third thing is, I would say, honestly, stop posting on social media 24/7 and enjoy. Have a strategy of some kind of getting clients. Oh, you can see my dog.
Hi, doggy.
Have a have a strategy of some and this is where she wants to sit, like, hey, there's a camera. So have a strategy to get leads that does not include you burning out on social media. And actually, I'd offer a fourth one. Join my masterclass so you can figure out a better way to get leads. So that would be my fourth bonus tip. Bonus.
Okay, yeah, no, and that's great because there's a lot there, like period point blank. There's a lot to learn, and things are not as simple as back in the day of having like a bake sale.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
it's not as simple as that anymore. And so being more aware of that, and then also like being aware and realistic of the time and the value on your time. I feel
Yes.
like moms, I say it all the time, we struggle with our value and our worth and our time
Mm,
so much.
yeah.
So much because everything else seems to need us versus
Us. Yeah.
right. And so
Definitely.
like you said, learning to work smarter and not harder, maximizing this one um video or this one live event or one virtual event in whatever shape or form, and using that to maximize your potential is going to give you the best that you can do to so that way you can gain that time back with your family,
Yes.
rebuild and
Absolutely.
get your finances back as well not like you lost it, but rebuild
Right.
your finances and the price point that you are wanting for your family.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's so
definitely.
important.
Create a signature offer. This is like my final words, truly. Learn how to create a signature offer. Keep your prices, commensurate with the value that you provide. And that might be a mindset shift that you have to think about what value you actually provide. Maybe ask some other people the value, because we are notorious for undervaluing our own knowledge. So create a signature offer, find out the value, the true value, and really doing some market testing to find out like what people would pay for whatever it is that you're doing. And then just be consistent, keep showing up, because someone once said you have to endure long enough to be discovered. Don't kind of give
Mhm.
up because it's not working, or it's not working the way you want it to, or whatever. This is a long game. It's going to take a little bit, right? But there are ways and methods that you can use to make it much, much faster than burning out on social media. So
Exactly. And then again, just rebuilding that time that you want to spend with your family.
with your family, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Kelly. This was awesome. I enjoyed our call, and
Thank you.
we had kids and dogs popping in our
I'm telling you.
just keeping it real on here. And I love it
Yeah.
though, because like
Yeah.
what you're doing with teaching women how to use virtual events, this is that perfect example. And thank God for how things are, because it allows us to be able to create and build a business and being able to still be present and involved in our kids' lives while
Absolutely.
also still being able to provide an income and for them too. So what you're doing is amazing and valuable, and
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate your time. And for those of you guys who want to connect more with Kelly, I'll make sure to post all of her information so you can connect with her further. And if you are interested in her program Align to Attract, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
if you're interested in her program Align to Attract, she has a program coming up on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, right?
Yep. On Wednesday from 12
Yeah,
to 4. Yep. We can drop the link. I can give you the link and you can drop
yeah.
that as well.
Yeah, I'll make sure to drop the link in the description if you're on YouTube, and also in the comments if you are on Facebook, so that way you guys can connect with her and if you're interested in enrolling in that. All right. So,
Awesome. Thank you so much, Apollonia. This has been fun. Again, love hanging out
yeah,
with you.
yeah, thanks for hopping on. And don't forget, you guys, if you're catching this later on in the live, you can always hit the replay button or just hit the regular play button once the recording is all up. But thank you guys for your time, and can't wait to catch you guys on the next live. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.